Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining this week's Vendasta webinar. We're live from the Vendasta headquarters in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. It's Thursday, February 20th, and today we're learning about Shoptoit's automated Google Ads for small businesses. My name is Erica Polishchuk. I'm a product marketing intern here at Vendasta, and joining me today from Shoptoit, we have founder Scott Sanderson. Hi, Scott. Thank you for joining me today.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can.
I'm not in Saskatoon. I'm in Calgary, so you guys are inundated by Canadians.
Not the worst thing. So before we begin, as usual, feel free to drop a chat with any questions you have throughout the webinar, and we will get to them towards the end of the webinar. If we do not get to your question today, we will follow up with you afterwards. So we do have a lot of interest in today's webinar, so I'll stop talking and I'll go ahead and pass the presentation over to Scott.
Okay, 2 seconds to get this right, and come on. How are we doing?
Perfect.
Okay, so welcome everybody. Thank you. We're going to be brief here, try and get more questions, less pitch. But what my company is Shoptoit, and it is a cloud-based automated platform that makes it fast and easy for small businesses to really take advantage of Google search and the paid portion. So we try and help them create a perpetual stream of new customers using Google Ads. That's the whole basis of it. Now in the Vendasta dashboard, you're going to find a video that we put in there that walks through what it looks like and what's there, how it works, all that kind of good stuff, how to position it. It's really designed for you to share with a potential prospect or customer. And we're wide open to putting different content in there. So if you guys think of something that would help you sell, let us know. We're new to the program. Welcome the idea of doing this. Really think we can help. So landscape. While there's roughly 34 million small businesses in North America, the real trick is that these are all under 20 employees, but there's roughly 80% of them that have no employees, and they all need help. And they need help getting found, because their top concern today, over and over again, is how do I get a new customer? They don't know what to do. The world has changed. They don't know how to change with it. So the biggest burning issue for a small business today is, hey, am I going to survive? The only way I can do that is to get new customers and keep them, obviously, but it starts with get them. So we're designed for that. We're designed to try and help these 30 million small businesses figure out how to survive the digital world. Because the reality is the consumer has shifted. We all know about consumer behavior today. We're using our phones. We expect to access information immediately. We expect it to be accurate and precise. We're all impatient, and we leverage digital platforms to help us find what we're looking for. And there's lots of different digital platforms out there. But the reality is that as digital continues to consume traditional, there's really only, in our opinion, one place that you really got to focus on if you have a limited budget. So when you look at this digital landscape, you see that 61 cents or something out of every dollar that's spent in digital advertising goes to either Google or Facebook. And Facebook did 66 billion last year in sales, but Google did 120 billion in sales last year. So Google's twice the size of Facebook in terms of its ad business. Both of these businesses live off ads. The thing I wanted to make clear is that unlike, say, Facebook, everybody uses Google. So when you're selling, you don't have to go in there and say, here's this esoteric thing that might work for you. It's Google. It's the trillion-dollar company. It's now one of the 6, I think, trillion-dollar companies. It just got voted the top recognized brand in the world. It all comes from ads. So why is this happening? Well, there's this thing now called the 0 moment of truth. And basically the 0 moment of truth is once upon a time, you used to have a stimulus, and then you went into a store and you had to win there, what they called the first moment of truth. And then you had to look after your customer. But now that's changed. There's this whole pre-shopping experience. You get a stimulus, you get turned on to something, or you see it, or a friend tells you about it, and you go to Google and you research it. And while you're in that research stage, or it's Google today, Amazon if it's a product, we'll get to that in a second, But this whole extra stage has created this thing called search marketing. And of course, the king of search is Google. So when someone's doing a service-based search, whether it's local or national or whatnot, they go to Google. When they're doing a product search, they go to either Google or Amazon. And interestingly, when they start product searches today, just recently, Amazon is now beating Google as the place a consumer will start a product-based search. And Amazon, of course, is Google's biggest customer and biggest adversary. So there's lots of fun stuff happening in search, but the reality is, whether you're a service-based business or a product-based business, Google's a really important thing for you to master, because it's critical that products or services, and we don't care how you sell them, whether you're an e-commerce provider, a local business, or an omni-channel business, it doesn't matter. Google is a center point for what you have to be considering to get the best return on investment. Now, as somebody who's selling it, the way that you sell it, I think, is to say, look, it's obvious. It's $1 trillion business. All the money comes from ads. It does 120 billion in ads. And every household business that's out there is moving budget away from other things into Google search. It's growing at an alarming pace. And so the why, or the selling part of it, is just because it works and everyone else is proving it. So you don't have to be the person that tries to justify or rationalize that. So it's simple. Search advertising delivers between 2 and 25 times return on ad spend. For every dollar you stick into the machine, if you do it properly, you're going to get 2 to 25 times that return back. So what we're trying to do here is just establish the whole sales positioning. You know, the average cost per click is $2.25. The average cost per customer is $56. But the problem is it's complicated, it changes all the time, and it takes time. So there's a huge opportunity gap here. That gap is that people do not have the time. Even agencies like yourselves, consultants, to handle really small customers is challenging because there's a lot of work. You got to create the ads, pick the right keywords, identify the negatives, set the targeting, and then consistently manage bids and budget. It's a lot of work. And if you don't do the work, you can wipe out your budget super fast. We've all seen this. We've heard of the $99 clicks. We've all seen this happen before. So the average small business is essentially locked out of this because they need that money to go to advertising in order to get the most effectiveness. The money needs to go to Google and be properly managed to deliver the best return to keep them going. Because every dollar for these guys is precious and there's not a lot of dollars out there. So they're left out. And what we're trying to do is to say, how do you bring them back in? So just to quickly recap it, there's 33 million small businesses out there. 80% of them have no employees. The number one concern for them is, where do I get a new customer? The customer is switched. They're in a digital platform, largely Google. Search is the killer app. It's used by everybody because it reaches a consumer at the zero moment of truth, and it delivers excellent results at about $56 per customer. Doing search yourself as a small business is virtually impossible, and hiring a consultant to manage a small campaign for you, there's just too much money that goes to the consulting because it's labor and you have to charge for it. It doesn't make it to ads. So small guys do not have the budget or the capacity to get into this. Now, what we're trying to do at Shoptoit is to say, hey, we are one of these whole host of businesses that has what we call a cloud business. So the software and services are provided through the cloud. And that means anyone can access it. All the small companies can now compete with big companies on the cool tools that they used to use to run their business. Like, I remember buying Office 365 for $1,800, or Microsoft Office for $1,800. I think I spend $7 a seat now. That means everyone can access it. You know, think of all of the things that you're seeing out there, the QuickBooks, the Zendesks, BigCommerce, Shopify. The cloud is really changing what's going on and allowing small business to get into the game and compete with big business. That's opening up the door for a small business to effectively operate without having to kill themselves budget or time-wise. That's what we are. We are a fast, easy, and affordable cloud-based software that runs and creates and manages ad campaigns. So when you're in the Vendasta dashboard, literally how you get an account going is you fill in this form, which is the activation form. Name, address, phone number of the business, and their website if they have one. And you're done. our tool takes over. We create an API, blah, 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 tech speak for data, talking to Google directly. We then connect that directly into Google, and we create an ad campaign. We create ads for each of the products or services that we allocate to the profile of the category of the business. We then create long tail, extensive keyword lists with lots of negatives, because negatives are what kills you. We focus on ROI, positioning, and we continually adjust via our internal automated bid management tool to make sure that these campaigns are effective. So the whole point is you fill in a form, well, talk to a customer, or even email or introduce a customer, and off you go, you're done. We are directly integrated into the Vendasta executive dashboard, which I'm sure you're mostly aware of, and we have a full mobile enabled and desktop dashboard of our own that you can access and see any of the results from any of your accounts at any time. Now, basically, what we're doing is saying, if you can walk into a small business customer and say, this is what you can expect, let's get started, and not get caught on all of the other things that you have to do in terms of selling, like address the risk or address the reward. There is no risk, there's no time, and it's very little money. These are small budgets. They start at $199 a month, and then add what you need to add on it to keep your business going, but they're live. It's that fast and that simple. So we deal with the fear, uncertainty of doubt. There's no setup fees, there's no contract, there's no time for them to commitment, and they're live in 2 days starting to see results. So the whole platform is built as almost a self-sign-up tool. So the buy it yourself world that we all hear about, could you actually target a small business that you have some relationship with, historical track record with, send them an email, and actually get an order? And that's what our tool is built to do. It literally is that simple. We literally think, send them an email campaign, it's Google, you don't have to really convince them that's gonna work. You have to convince them to get started. So there's no evaluation, there's no proposal, there's no management or setup fees, and we deliver results. Now, our whole sales pitch is, you're gonna use these results to build your business. Once you deliver traffic to a small business, you now create the footprint to be able to say, how do we help you grow from there? There's lots of other things that they will invest in once they can see results. Google AdWords delivers results. It's the quickest, most effective way to get a result or traffic to a website. But that conversation leads into, do you want to increase your ad budgets? Do you want to consider doing SEO or listings management and get some free traffic to your website? Do you need a new website? Should we be focusing on conversion tools? Do you need CRM, email, content? It's the way, instead of trying to sell all of these things in one wrapped up bundle to a small business who's very price sensitive, to get to this point over time, leveraging an AdWords campaign managed by the Shoptoit tool through Vendasta. So that's our whole approach to this with it. You know, we think you should go out to your customers and say, it's $250 a month for this $199 campaign. And we think if you go and get 50 customers, you know, you create this perpetual revenue stream of $30,000 per year. You really probably don't have to meet with that customer more than once a quarter for about a half an hour. And all you're doing is going through the results and saying, are they interested in investing more, either in ads or in any of the next growth stages? So in terms of building your business, these little guys, they can really add up. It's like picking up nickels, but if you pick up enough nickels, well, you got a pretty good little nest egg. So you can profit from many of these customers with ease, because essentially you end up billing out at about $1,200 an hour, because there's not really much for you to do except review the results with them and help them grow. So here's the way that we look at the whole space of small businesses. We think that as the budget increases, so does the need to audit results, and so does the need to have conversations and have proposals and big pitches and big strategy sessions. And that's a really important part. But it deals with this part that I think is above, you know, the surface. If you look at it like an iceberg, you know, there's 6 million small businesses up there that are probably in that, I'm okay to spend $750 to $1,500 a month. Again, these are all small businesses. But what about the $27 million that are down there saying, like, I'll spend 500 or 250, but I'm never spending 1,500 without some kind of proof that it's going to actually work. And of course, the internet gives better proof than traditional media, but it doesn't give exact proof. So we look at our tool and say, we want to help these buy it yourself people, these businesses that are hanging on, trying to figure out what to do with it. You know, what does a customer like ours look like? Well, they're busy. They're not overly technical. They have a low degree of trust, but they really need help. Their big concern is it an Amazon, Walmart world, or are all the big guys going to keep eating up the small guys? Are all the franchise operators going to take away independent business? And we can help that independent business get found. That's what this is all about. Some of the markets that we over-index in include mortgage brokers. These are independent one-person operators all looking for leads. Insurance advisors, consultants. I mean, everybody has a coach these days. Think of a consultant like that. Think of search consultants. There's a lot of consultants that are saying, I'll do a good job looking after a customer. I just need to find them. Google can help you find them. Clinics, retailers, home services. These are all categories that are massively populated by small business that are busy, looking for customers, not technical, and do not have a bunch of time to invest in this. They're never going to do it themselves. But they need that money to get to ads on an effective campaign so they can see a return. So we look at it and say there's an addressable market. 19% of them are the people that all of you guys are typically going after, right? It's a highly competitive space. It's time consuming to get that customer because the budgets are high. There's a high degree of churn because they always want to see this accountability. They expect, they audit stuff more. They want to talk and they're hiring that service. They're spending a bunch of money and they're concerned about that. We want to create the ability for you to go to the 81% of the businesses where there's a very limited competition. It's super fast and easy. The churn is way less because the investment and the risk is way less. So that's when you think of Shoptoit and Google Ads through the Vendasta platform, that's where we want you to think about us. You know, we address the issues we think of all the prospective audiences. We deal with relevance. This is Google. You don't have to convince them. You just have to go in there and say, like, I think a sales call is, hey, maybe you've done a pre-scan, maybe you haven't, but the net is Google's a business. They'd rather you just paid them. Thank you very much. It's complicated, hard to do, but we can get started here for an inexpensive amount, say $250 a month. And let's see what kind of results we can get. And let's see if we can move forward and use it as the springboard to help your business grow with all the other services that you may provide. That's what we're looking at. How do you increase the relevance, reduce the churn, grow your business on an annual profit per user basis? That's Shoptoit.
Okay, great. We'll get into some questions here now. Okay.
Are you reading them or am I?
I will read them out loud and you can answer them. How's that?
Sure.
Okay, perfect. So we have, how scalable is your product? What is the maximum budget you support? And then as the follow-up to that, what is the right budget or what would be the ideal budget for this?
This is Debbie's questions. Okay, Debbie, those are good questions. What is the right budget? I don't know. Pull out a crystal ball. It's whatever budget that you can get that customer to be comfortable with to start. I really think the approach to this, in my opinion, as just one approach, but it's my opinion, is to de-risk it by saying, why don't we start small, whatever small is for that business or that particular business, and then say, let's grow. And let's take 90 days, review the results from this. We'll see the impression share, we'll see the cost per clicks, we'll see all the results from that particular business, and then say, do you want to add more? And then I think there's an opportunity to say, okay, now it's time to talk about conversion. So I think it's about how do you get in for the minimum amount to get that engagement and turn the sales process into something that's speedy? That would be my answer to that question. Oh, they just got rolled around. I don't have that question anymore. Maybe you could read the second one again. Do you see them all? Oh, you moved it to answer. Okay, hang on. I got it now. How scalable is your product? Okay, so the max budget we support. We really do have customers that are using our tool in excess of $5,000 a month on their budgets. That's not our sweet spot and not who we're really trying to help. Because they have at that spend, the customer has a high degree of acuity. They want to know what's working, what's going on. They want to see all the keywords. They want to see all the results. They want to do a lot of what we would call consulting. We want to be the software platform that says, look, you're live, you're getting results. Let's start a conversation. And we see it more like up into about $1,000 a month of spend, maybe even $750 a month in ad spend. We're an awesome solution, and we expand and open a market for you. Once you get past that, Vendasta has a lot of internal solutions and other solutions, or you can start to provide consulting services on your own. Our tool can still run the ad campaigns, but that's not really what they're buying anymore. They're buying consultation, and that's not us. So it's wildly scalable. We could handle, like, we don't touch anything. You fill in a form and the computers take over, they open accounts, they hook them into Google, they create the ads, bang, 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 it's done. And they auto adjust. So you could give us 30,000 accounts, and in 2 minutes, you'd have 30,000 campaigns.
Okay, great. And we have a few questions around this. So how much of the spend actually goes towards the ad spend?
That's a good question. So how we, Vendasta and Shoptoit, charge is we charge a $15 a month flat rate for the service, and we take 20% management fees. So we literally end up with whatever that is, $162 or $142 that goes directly to Google. And every penny is accounted for. It shows you directly in the reports on our end. You can see all that information. But so it's a huge, like in terms of a small campaign, a huge amount of it gets to the ads. It's about the ads delivering the traffic to keep that customer, because they're getting what we call phone rings and door swings. Hopefully that answers that question.
I think so. And another question is people wondering if they can get an unbranded version of that presentation, possibly with a talk track, but I know you guys do have a smaller sales presentation on your product page right now.
Yeah, I think we're open to creating the assets required to help people really, like, it's a simple message in our opinion. Hey guys, you can afford to do this and you didn't used to be able to. So if there are assets, then we encourage you to talk to either your salespeople at Vendasta or your Vendasta contacts, and we can certainly address that for you. I'm getting pinged. It must be Christina. Yes, we have a PowerPoint unbranded that they can add their branding to. So I guess we've done some creative for you, but we're happy to do more as long as it helps you grow the sales.
Okay, perfect. And how often are the ad campaigns updated and reviewed to ensure best ROI for customers?
I think it's about every hour. Like, it's software, it pings it, it adjusts it, it creates the bid mechanism. It says this is working, this is not, kill this, increase that, boost this, do that. So it's like a tool that you would find at a big agency managing a big bid management customer. It's just brought down to the level where a small business can afford to get the same kind of results without having to spend, you know, $20,000 a month that you might have to with, say, CPC strategy or something like that.
Okay, great. Do you set up all the tag manager information as well?
So the tag management information as well, yes. Can you guys hear the pings I'm getting from my team?
No, we can't.
Good, because they're listening. The problem is, for some of these more technical questions, like, I'm the mouthpiece. So they give me enough information to make it so I can talk, but not enough that they don't let me touch any of the buttons.
Okay, but the answer is yes then?
The answer is yes.
Okay.
We set up all the tag management.
Perfect. What is the generic CPC average from past campaigns, and is this available in the UK? So
yeah, it is available in the UK. English is easy. Other languages are doable. The CPC average from the past campaign, there is a CPC sheet, the one that you saw in that deck is in the Vendasta platform as part of the sales tools. But I really, really strongly urge you that the sales process, it sounds a little bit like this. Mr. Customer, every market, every day, every category, different. I can give you a benchmark, I can give you an idea, But really, you need to start, run it for 90 days. We'll audit it and give you some suggestions about impression share and expansion or deletion of budget. I find it to be a far more effective sales process because they expect you to give them an answer as a salesperson, and then they expect that to be the truth. And the reality is, it's like saying, I can get you in the top position on the first page of a Google search. Well, that's a tough, bold proposition to try and deliver on. Same with us. We don't know. You could have some crazy guy or a whole bunch of people, buying AdWords in one market and outbidding each other and overpaying. Our tool's still going to try and sneak in under that radar and do a better job for sure. But we've seen a mortgage broker in British Columbia in Canada spend on average $3.60 for a click-through, and that same campaign in a place like Barrie, Ontario, a smaller market area, spend 90 cents. So there's a template there for you. There's a guideline, but I think the process is get them to start and then use that result to try and move them down the road. It's a much easier sales process in our opinion.
Okay, and is the campaign optimized from month to month?
It's optimized from hour to hour.
Awesome.
So I guess the answer is yes. A whole bunch of times in the course of a month.
Okay. Who determines the keywords that the campaign will be focused on?
90% computers. We call our cute little computer that you see in there Gary, the search robot, and 10% manual, where we go in periodically and say, hey, we learned something new and cool. Let's add it to this particular vertical channel.
Okay.
Oh, there is, and she hasn't sent this to me yet, but I'm sure she's still typing. There is the ability for you as the intermediary or even the customer directly to offer suggested keywords or specific words that you want attention drawn to. So there's that interface in our dashboard at any time.
Okay. And you guys showed that your path starts with Google Ads before SEO and then a website. And someone's just wondering if you can explain how that's effective or why you choose to do it that way instead of starting with a good SEO website and then Google Ads.
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think it's a question almost of ideology. In our experience, we come from the agency world. And in our experience, it's so much easier to increase investment when you can show results. Now, SEO, listing management, all that kind of stuff, business organic, posts, content, social, they're all real and they're all important, but they all take time. And on a small budget guy that you're trying to manage on a hands-off basis, those things take work. In a Google ad campaign, it's fill in a form, push a button, enter a budget, done. So once you establish that traffic is absolutely coming to that website, we believe it's much easier to go back after and say, okay, we've got a run rate here on traffic. We really got to invest in a better conversion platform. That's your website. We really should invest in a better, backlink strategy, listings management, all of those types of things. I just find that even with listings management, which is a great tool today, it takes time. It doesn't happen immediately. It's a tougher sell. I don't know what Yalwa directory is. Why am I paying for that? It's a different sale. We think that, hey, look, last month or last week, you had 5,000 people see your ad and 250 people come to your website. Well, I didn't see any phone numbers or convert or people come through my business. That's because your website sucks. Let's talk about making it better. It's an easier process, in my opinion, and faster than SEO.
Okay, great. Good, thorough answers here. Another listener,
Careful, it might never end.
Another listener is wondering, can we make changes to the ads or keywords?
I think if you're going to go in and make changes to the ads or keywords, I'm being told by Christina, yes, just tell them yes. Yes, there's an interface here that you can do all of that kind of stuff. Our process is, look, you're live. Let's refine it. We're really trying to say there should be virtually no touch, no labor spent by the consultant or the agent to be able to deliver an effective campaign. Otherwise, you're going to be in a position where you're going to have to take our product and charge $500 for it because you have to recover your time. And we really don't encourage that, but of course, we have fields to adjust the copy and the keywords, but we set it up automatically. So you can tweak it, but we encourage you to, whatever time you're going to spend trying to optimize that and do a better job there, just go find another couple customers. We'll look after it.
Okay, and another question is, does your system work with existing Google Ads accounts, or do you have to create a new one that we don't have access to?
A new one you don't have access to. This all comes under our master agreement with Google, and everything in there gets managed directly through us. We can't get our computer system to hook into Google through somebody else's account. It has to be direct one-to-one relationship. So those accounts basically go on pause, typically the direct ones, for people that are, dipping their toe in the water or whatever. They activate ours, turns it on. It's still going to the same domain, so you still get whatever. Google won't tell you you're getting link juice or any kind of increase in terms of your ranking, but we all know that if you get more traffic, you get a higher rank for SEO. So that is domain-based, not Google account-based. And if you're not happy with the results from us, you can switch right back and turn them on.
Okay, awesome. And another question here, do we have to create /manage/write content for the ad landing pages?
Landing pages are, we need a URL, and the rest is up to you. So I know that with Vendasta, there's all kinds of services in there, tools. I believe there's free landing pages. I'm not that familiar with the product offering from the Vendasta dashboard, but I believe that there's all kinds of things in there that can make that so that you're not spending a bunch of time on there. And we, as part of our story, there's getting found and there's getting conversion. When you're talking about creating content and landing pages, you're talking about conversion. I really personally believe that people are going to be far more interested in saying, how do I show up at your store if you're a retailer? So give me directions, make sure that's prominent. How do I call you? So make sure the phone number's in the header, right? On every page and prominent with click to call functionality. How do I book an appointment with you? Maybe that's things like Calendly. I understand there'll be an announcement around Calendly, but something that allows them to not use the website to actually sell them, just uses the website to give them a call to action, to capture them. So we are not involved. We're kind of like here's the introduction, here's an engaged local targeted buyer, good luck. But there's lots of room for you guys as consultants to help them in perpetuity get better at that.
Okay. And we have a couple questions here about whether this product integrates with our advertising intelligence product, and I'll answer that currently. The answer to that is no. So yeah, at this time, you cannot see the results in real time in advertising intelligence. And then another question for you, do you do call tracking and conversion tracking?
I'm going to wait for my magic button to, I can see it's typing. Oh, she must be typing a long story. They can be set up if we are given access to analytics. So I think that's yes, if you want, and if you can grant access.
Okay. Okay, do you think this product would be suitable for small for sale real estate projects, not a single for sale home, but for multifamily projects?
Yeah, real estate is so first of all, we can do anything. But when it comes to real estate, it's a little bit tricky because real estate, in our experience, is very dependent on an external database. This is in Canada, it's called the MLS listings service. And there's so many people out there, Redfin, Zoho, or not Zoho, I'm not even sure what they're called, but in Canada, there's a few of them that are out there that specialize in real estate. And we have tended to not invest heavily in the realtor market as a result of not being able to continually access and update that database. We have the capacity and capability to do it. It has not been a focus for us. So I would say we can, but so can lots of places. And that database is the trick.
Okay, great.
So I'm sorry about the elusive answer, but maybe that's something we can talk about offline.
Sure. We have a few questions about this, about whether you employ Google's display network and if retargeting is included or if it has to be ordered standalone.
So the product, we do, those are optional settings. Out of the gate, no, but in terms of optional settings that can be turned on for an account, both can be turned on. So we don't use the display network. We only use the search and not the search network, I believe. But we can get some, yes. We do use the search network. Do we use the search network? Yes, correct. So there's the search and the search network.
Okay, perfect. Next question is.
Hang on, sorry. Not the search network. Google search only.
Okay.
That's our default setting out of the box, but they can be changed.
Okay.
Sorry, it's a little tricky because it's which version is in Vendasta? Because we work, diligently with the Vendasta people to say, how do you create something that really helps these agents deal with the smaller business? Mm-hmm. So there have been some tweaks. Those, I guess, are a couple of them.
Okay. Next question. Is there a 90-day commitment?
No. Well, not that I'm aware of. No. It's been confirmed. There's no 90-day commitment.
Okay. And do you provide a proof of the ad or any samples for client follow-up?
That's a great question. I think one that was been brought up by Vendasta to us, and I think that's in the works, but I'm not sure what the status of that is.
Currently, it is in the executive report. Okay. Sorry, I'm just combing through. We have lots of questions.
Is that a good or a bad thing?
I think it's a good thing. Lots of engagement here. Okay, this is an important one that I can comment on. People are saying they don't see Shoptoit in the Vendasta marketplace. It is under the name Google Ads for Small Businesses. And then, here's a question. Are the ads just text ads, or are there any display or video ads available?
Text only, no video or display. We believe that those are things that you are far more well-served to supply to your client through whatever means, whether you're doing it manually, whether you're getting creative services from a Vendasta platform or designer. The whole point here is we have computers that generate campaigns based on words. And that's why we're able to do it and get most of this money to go directly to the ads, which drives the results, which allows it to grow and flourish. So we don't focus on services like that, but there's lots of them in the Vendasta dashboard or marketplace.
Okay. Who provides the ad copy?
Again, that's Gary, the search robot, based on the categorization. They're dynamically generated ads. So the ads have dynamic content inside of them.
Okay. Then another question from a listener, who is managing this ongoing, my client directly or me?
I think that's your choice as an agent. The tool is built for someone to be able to say yes and get reports and make decisions. Now, we feel that what we're trying to help with the most is to get that customer to want to talk to you about investing more. So we think that it should be you that goes to that customer and says, look, it's working. We should consider more. Here's your impression share. Here's what that means. Here's what's going on. You should consider increasing your budget and possibly investing in other services that you can provide. That's our master plan, but the solution is very much capable of a customer doing it self-serve. It just limits the opportunity, we think, for you, the agent, sales agent or consultant, to maximize your returns with that business as they start to grow and evolve. So yes and yes.
Okay, and is this only for local? What about national companies?
So a national company, so you can target whatever geographic region you want. Our default is, I believe, 30 miles from the zip code, postal code. And then we have a whole other e-commerce solution that we will be launching in the near future in the Vendasta platform for national, international, online e-commerce sellers. It works a bit differently than the local ones. You can change the setting and add cities, towns, areas, and do that. Our tool does not do that automatically, but you do have the flexibility to change it. So yeah, you could say you want to target 30 miles around Austin, Texas. I want to target the state of Texas. So change 30 miles to whatever that is, 350 miles, and you effectively do that. Or say, just target the state of Texas, and we can do that.
Okay, awesome. And then another question I can answer here is, are there any reviews, references, or testimonials from Shoptoit customers? And the answer is yes. In the product page, there are client testimonials. And then another question for you, Scott, is will the reports show the ads and keywords?
The reports show, they do not show the ad. Our reports do not show the ads because the ads are dynamic. The ads are changing all the time. Content is being added based on the product and or service category that the keyword campaign is being bought on. The keywords, we give you an example of the top performing keywords, but this is a very long tail. These are computers picking words and putting phrases together to try and minimize the cost per click and maximize the return. So it's conceivable that there's thousands of keyword combinations in there. We do not unlock those. We typically show, here's the top performing keywords, not here's all the performing keywords.
Okay. Just combing back through these questions here.
Geez, it seems like you can't get below 50.
How does the client know what is being sent out in advertising fits their brand, and is there an approval process?
How do they know if it fits their brand? I guess we haven't encountered that question or that observation in the past, but I'm guessing if they're that brand conscious, they're probably in need of a consultant. This is about words. And so the words dictate the intention of the shopper or the buyer. Those words, like we don't add, words that are non-reflective of the brand. I'm being told there are fields showing the ad display text that they can look at and change if necessary. So I guess the answer is yes, you can change those things and see what they are, but out of the gate, the whole point here is, look, you filled in a form, you hit enter, you gave me a budget, a credit card number, whatever it was, however you claim, and you went live. Here was your notification. You're starting to get results. let's let it go for a while. So it might not be for every customer, but we sure think it's for a lot of them.
Okay, great. We do not have time to get to all of the questions today. We're going to cut the questions off here, but we will follow up after the webinar and make sure all of the questions get answered. So thank you again, Scott, for joining me and for telling us about your product. There's always lots of interest in what can be done to help those truly small businesses with the really small budgets.
Great. Thanks for attending. Appreciate you guys for hosting.
For sure. And just before I let everyone go, I just have some reminders about Vendasta's 4th annual conference, Conquer Local 2020. This year's event takes place from June 8th until June 10th in beautiful Montreal, Canada, and it's just 2 days before the start of the Canadian Formula One Grand Prix. We have lots of fun activities planned, like our Conquerors Bash in Cirque Eloise, which is a training facility for circus performers, and a half day of go-karting at K1 Speed, which is one of the largest indoor go-karting tracks in North America. We also have great speakers lined up, including Mark Gallagher, a Formula One industry executive, Mitch Joel, founder of Six Pixel Group, and of course, our keynote speaker, Mark Roberge, who is a senior lecturer in the Entrepreneurial Management Unit at the Harvard Business School and founding CRO at HubSpot. Now, the really exciting announcement that we have is as a webinar participant, you can receive a $300 discount off of any conference pass if you use the promo code webinar300. So I would encourage all of you to head over to conference.conquerlocal.com for more information and to use the promo code webinar300 to save $300 on an amazing event. But that is all that we have for you this week. Thank you so much for joining this week's webinar.